When you want to perform the same task on multiple images, the batch processing features in Photoshop can save you hours of work. In the previous lesson, we made some actions. Now we'll apply one of them to multiple images. We're going to go in our TT demo set here and batch process the fit and logo action. Now before you batch process dozens or even hundreds of images, it pays to do a quick test and make sure that the action behaves as expected. So let's go into our Chapter 2 folder, and we're going to open up two files, Action 01 and Action 04. And we'll hit Open. Now whenever you have an action that involves resizing or placement of objects, as we did in the last lesson, it pays to try them out on both horizontal and vertical images. So we've got our horizontal image open here, and let's simply, with Fit and Logo selected, press play. The image has been resized. The logo has been placed in the upper right, and the saturation has been set to -100. Perfect. Let's take a look and see what happens on the vertical image. Again, we'll select play. Now the image has been resized and the logo has been placed, but let me zoom in here with Command plus on the Mac, Control plus on Windows. You can see that our logo has been placed almost completely off of the image area, and that's because we have our ruler unit set to inches. So when we recorded our action, Photoshop recorded the precise number of inches that we moved our logo from the center. And of course that's not going to work on a vertical image. We simply run out of space. Fortunately, this is easy to fix. We're going to go up to our Preferences menu, Command K on the Mac, Control K on Windows, and we're going to select Units and Rulers and set our rulers to %, and then we'll hit OK. Now what we want to do is re-record this step. We don't have to toss the whole action and start over from scratch. I'm going to click the disclosure triangle for Fit and Logo. We'll go down, and it's this place step that's giving us a problem. So let's go here and bring back Action 04. And what we want to do is re-record this step. So we simply double click it. Opens up our dialog box. We choose our logo. Hit OK. Let's scale this down a bit. That looks pretty good. And now let's move this right up to where we had it initially. Maybe come off of it just a little bit. That looks pretty good. And we'll hit Enter to confirm the move. And that's it. Now what we've done is we have modified our place step to work with percentages instead of actual inches. So now let's go back to our vertical image. Let's go to History, take this back to its open state, and we'll zoom out here so you can see the whole image. We'll click back on our Actions tab, and now let's run the action. There we go. Now the action has performed a nice placement of our logo in the upper right of the image. So again, that's a good thing to test before we run it on a lot of images. It'll save you a bunch of time. Now before we get started with the batch processing, I do want to make one last step. We've left this image here with 3 separate layers. What I want to do is add a final step to our action that will flatten the image. So to do that, we're going to select the action, click on the very last step, which was Create Clipping Mask, and now we're going to press Record. And with Record running, I'm simply going to go to the Layers panel, the Flyout menu, and Flatten Image. Now we'll press Stop. So that's the final step. Now we're ready to run this action on multiple images. Let's get rid of these 2 files. I'm going to press Option Command W on Mac, Control Alt W on Windows, select Apply to All, and hit Don't Save. Now we'll go up to the File menu, under Automate, and choose Batch. At the top of this window, we choose the set and action that we wish to run. They've defaulted nicely to our TT demo set and Fit and Logo action. Next to Source, we have it set to folder, and we need to choose the folder that contains the images that we are going to process. So we'll hit Choose. Inside our Chapter 2 folder, we will select the Batch folder that contains the images that we're going to process. So we'll hit Choose. Now below this, if you have an open command in your action, it's imperative that you check this box. We do not have one, so we must not check it. We can include all subfolders if there are subfolders that we want to include in our batch processing. We don't need to do that for this example. It's a great idea to suppress file open options and color profile warnings. Both of these instances will throw up a pop-up dialog in Photoshop waiting for you to hit OK or cancel or continue. And if you leave the computer and set a batch action to run, the last thing you want to do is come back an hour or two later with that dialog box sitting on screen, pausing the action, waiting for you to take some action by pressing a button. Under Destination, we're going to set this to Folder, and we're going to choose a folder to save these files. Now you can save these files wherever you like. Inside your Chapter 2 folder, I've made a batch folder, and inside that batch folder is a folder titled Action Results. That's where I'm going to save these files. Now again, if you have a Save As command in your action, you must check this button. We don't have one, so it's equally as imperative that we do not check this. Now, a very cool feature of the batch processing here is that we can rename our files. I'm going to highlight document name and type batch. I'm going to choose a 2-digit serial number here. And last but certainly not least, I'm going to add the extension. So my files will be named batch 01, batch 02, etc., and have the file name extension. Our starting serial number here is going to be 1, and that's it. All that's left to do now is hit OK. The images are opening, they're being processed, they're being saved in our folder, and that's it. We've just processed 5 or 6 files in a matter of seconds. Let's go and open one just to verify. In our Chapter 2 folder, inside our batch folder, we can click on Action Results, and let's just open up the very first file. Of course, if you chose a different location when you created the batch action, that's where you'll want to go to open up one of these files. And there we go. It's been resized and the logo has been placed in